Hello, I'm the TamBoTC channel. We're generating a world here, and we're going to do a top 20 list. This might span into several videos, as well as there will be different connections to this video, as there are a lot of different games I wanted to be on this list, but I had to narrow it down to 20, or else it would be way too big and way too many videos. So, and this took a lot to think about and such. I have no clue where I am in this playthrough of Minecraft. It looks like it's nighttime and I don't have anything to use to sleep in. Great. Do have lava next to me. Why is my controller moving on its own? Let's actually try a different map. I want to see all of my maps. But we're going to a lot of these games made the list due to either a personal connection, like on a family level or friend level, nostalgia connection, or a connection where it's something that I had to kind of get into in one way or another. Let's see, Survival Island. Because, like, say I didn't like the game series originally for whatever reasons, and then a game eventually got me into the series, or maybe a movie or something, which will definitely be talked about on this list. So, we'll get into that when it comes that time to talk about that, which might be sooner than later, because our number 20th game, I hope you guys can hear me fine, is Resident Evil. Oh, this is my world with the fox. Hello. So we got Resident Evil, but I will be going through each of the games in the series and tell you why or why not I chose certain ones to be on the list. Why did I not change that into planks? So let's change that. But yeah, I got into Resident Evil through 5. I didn't originally like Resident Evil. I was kind of turned off by stuff like the tankish controls and how goofy the acting and stuff was. I just wasn't a zombie person either. I thought that stuff was dumb, and especially nowadays it's overdone, but I do think that Resident Evil does it the most uniquely, as most of the creatures are mutants and stuff. Or not mutants, but like they mutate into crazier creatures later on. And I chose it because, surprisingly, I got into the series through the 5th game in the series, and through like friendship, playing it. Friendship! Powerful friendship, indeed. But I got into the series. I became a big fan because of the personal connection it started to build with me, and my friends, the friends that I gained along the way thanks to Resident Evil. It was just such a solid series too, though it seems like it's probably confused with some of its lore and stuff. Something about the windows down there. Maybe doing something wrong. No, it seems I'm doing something right. Weird. I don't know. This might be the last floor. I don't want to make this one as just like the other world that I have. But when it comes to it, I really enjoyed each Resident Evil. I think a lot of the side games like Revelations and such and 2 and Code Veronica are fine, but they have their own problems, or they don't live up to Resident Evil the same way that I like, or they have mechanics that I either like or dislike. Like, I don't really like the use of Rebecca, and switching between Rebecca and Billy is kind of annoying. And dropping having to drop your stuff just to have to backtrack for it, which was really annoying to me. And Code Veronica was just like, none of the level was really all that memorable and stuff. And stuff like Outbreak was fine, but can't really play multiplayer with people, and it has annoying AI and stuff. I at least think 5 isn't too hindered by Sheva AI, but it is still annoying. It's just not as annoying, and you can still have a decently fun time, even with the AI the way it is. I wonder if I have any more glass. So I'm gonna make this level the last level because I don't want too many levels on this, but I'll still have like a glass sunroof so that light can come through. I also got torches, so that's good. Got plenty of torches. So we're just gonna put it right here, 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 and here. There we go. Now, do I have any glass on me? Does not look like it. We might have to find some in this house or elsewhere, making some through sand. Or we check the furnaces. I don't know if I cooked some already. Let's check all the furnaces and such, the smoker, the chests. Nothing in that chest. I don't think anything was in that chest. Let's check this chest. Hello, Fox. Yeah, it's... I think I'm mostly going to talk about the mainline part of the series. Wonder how protected this house really is. So let's check each of the furnaces. Seems like everything's empty. See if there's glass in here. I don't see any. So there's sandstone, but no actual sand. This is an interesting house, though. But when it comes to it, we're gonna have to collect some sand. Resident Evil 1 hasn't aged well, but I love the remaster. Remaster is going to be up there for being #1. And then we got Resident Evil 5 will be up there. I'll talk about that a little bit more. So I want to say quickly that both, like, Resident Evil 4 is kind of like I got more into Resident Evil 4 later. I wasn't a big fan of Resident Evil 4 originally, but I understand it and love it more than I used to. Being that, like, the perspective I have of it is that Resident Evil 4 and 5 are both trying to be like... Resident Evil 4 is like a Japanese anime trying to be an Americanized action movie. And it's really over the top and ridiculous, and it knows it's over the top. Same with 5. 5 is just an American action movie. They both got, like, their own art style and such, and their own look to them that is very unique. They stand the test of time with their look. One looking more like anime, one realistic, but still having kind of a unique art style to it. How many? Oh, I can't tell using this room. Okay. So we might need more glass just because of the ceiling. So, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I might have to go all the way down here just to get some more sand. But yeah, I really loved the games, you know. Of course, like, 5 has very Matrix-like stuff using Albert Wesker. By the way, I love the actor who plays Albert Wesker. I love his voice. And there's so many, like, quotable lines. Y'all late post pounding the inevitable. I don't know why I'm having a problem with that. I had a problem last time, but I turned it into a silly moment. So whatever. Just got my tongue twisters, I guess. I don't know. But I absolutely love Resident Evil. I love the ridiculousness of 5. And I love the ridiculousness of 4. I think I like 5 a little more because I love the villain more than the villain in Resident Evil 4. But I think Leon is a cooler character more likable character in 4. I don't know. I like Chris as well. Chris has always been a favorite of mine. But you know, whatever. To each their own, who they prefer. Sheva's fine as well, and you got Jill Valentine, which is probably my favorite Resident Evil character ever. And I always choose like Jill, but I like playing Chris too in the Resident Evil remaster. Resident Evil 1, while I love its goofiness and its corny lines that we still quote today, I think that it hasn't aged well as it's not really that scary anymore. I don't even think it was scary then, at least in my opinion. It's the same thing with 4 and 5. They're not really scary, and Resident Evil's known more for its horror aspects and stuff. Oh, it's getting nighttime. We'll have to sleep. But yeah, Resident Evil 5. I love 3. 3 is so good. I love the Nemesis system. It still can scare you, and it's used still today with like Jack Baker and the Xenomorph and Alien Isolation and stuff. Another game I would have loved to put on this list, but it was ahead of a time where, just like Minecraft, where I didn't have really the nostalgia for it, as well as there wasn't really a nostalgia for it unless you connect it to the movies. But I don't know if that counts as much. There's still some nostalgia there. Just depends on how hard-hitting it is for you. But yeah, I love the Mass Effect. Not Mass Effect, what am I talking about? I was looking down, thinking about like what skin I want to use. I'm going to use a Mass Effect skin soon. I got a Skyrim skin. Possible spoilers. No, but yeah, when it comes to Resident Evil, I absolutely love all the characters for different reasons throughout the series. I will say one thing about the remakes of 2 and 3. They both have the same problems. I know 3 a little bit more so, but you technically can beat 3 pretty much in the same amount of time speedrunning it as the original Resident Evil 3. Maybe a little bit shorter in the new remake, but the thing that makes the originals better is not only the character development is focused more on, but you also have more like moments with like there's more branching paths and stuff that can happen in the original Resident Evils. But yeah, it's just like there's just a whole lot more in general to Resident Evil. Like in Resident Evil Remake, the original one, the remaster, actually adds more than taking away. Like the remake of 2 and 3, I kind of wanted to see it done with fixed camera as well. I'm fine with third person. And Mr. X stole like Nemesis's thunder as well, basically stealing his whole deal, his whole stick. In some ways, Nemesis is better though in the remake, but in other ways, not so much. And it's just like it's disappointing with the 2 and 3 because they're lacking a lot of stuff with the branching paths and the character development. Even if you don't have the original look back on, it is pretty weak still. And when you play through A/B scenario and then you play through it again but reversed, you kind of realize like nothing's changed. Nothing. So it's disappointing either way you look at it. I mean, it's more Resident Evil to play it. If you love playing that game and just getting the enjoyment out of it, that's perfectly fine. But there's nothing really truly engaging that comes out of it at the end of the day when it comes to the next playthrough. At least you're kind of like, okay, well, that was cool, I guess. It's the same thing again though. Like nothing's changed from the other one. It just kind of sucks. Okay, that has 3. This one has 4. Yeah, and you also have like the same bosses. I love how they say, "Oh, there's a secret boss though." When you complete it, it's the same secret boss on both, and it's just dumb. Where you have like different bosses and encounters and stuff, and of course both games have this problem, but the consistency of like where a character has been in terms of their part of the campaign compared to another one and the events that take place. I think the original was a little bit better with the consistency on that, but still not as much. But I do think the remake is even worse somehow with that stuff. Oh, I forgot to do the ceiling. I think I have enough to... please let me... Thank you. But yeah, I'm just very disappointed in certain aspects of the new one. But I think I'm going to... And Resident Evil 7 is brilliant. It returns back to form. It's really, it looks great. It's got great atmosphere. They all have great music as well. To each their own. They have great monsters and so much variety in the monsters. 6 is great with, like, it's got great elements to it, but it relies too much on the action and a lot of the cliche, like, turret sections and quick time events and stuff. And its puzzles kind of, like, the pacing is all over the place. The puzzles also break it up a bit too much. Yeah, it's just kind of all over the place and feels more like the movies. But that's not what everybody loves Resident Evil for. And I look forward to the Village, of course. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with the remaster of the original Resident Evil. I love 5. It's so much fun, and it's one of the best co-op games. But it's not true to the Resident Evil formula, as well as I actually do get scared and love the new stuff, such as Crimson Heads and stuff. And the new Resident Evil, like, remaster, remake, or whatever. It's one of the best, and it's just amazing. The original still has its charm, but I have to go with the remake because it's just that good. I don't know. Actually, I do know why I have 2 of those. But, oh, we got our little farm. I don't think I got to plant some seeds in there. Interestingly enough. Thought I had some seeds on me that I picked up. I'll have to check the farm and such. I don't know why that stuff is in there. But yeah, I think I prefer Resident Evil Remake, or Remaster, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it was really hard to decide because it's still challenging because you got 5. I love 3, by the way. 3 would have definitely made 1 because it's got a lot of, like, Terminator aspects to it. You can tell Nemesis is trying to be like the Terminator, chasing your Sarah Connor, Jill Valentine, and I guess Carlos is whatever his name is that Sarah Connor got together with in the first Terminator. I forgot his name. I'm sorry that I did. He's also plays, I think, Hicks and or is it Hicks and Aliens? I can't remember, but he's in a lot of action movies of the time. But yeah, it's such a great game. I love the Nemesis system in that, and no, I'm not talking about Middle Earth. It's almost done, so I'll be taking these as soon as it finishes. So let's move on to 19 because I've talked enough about that. I had to have a Metroid game on here because these have nostalgia as well as like a connection to my family because we would play a lot of these Metroid games. I think that I love the original. It's a classic. Samus 2 Metroid, Samus Returns or whatever is a great game too. Fusion, I love playing Fusion on my Game Boy Advance, that is, and I love Metroid Prime 2 and 3. They're excellent. A matter of fact, in some ways I do enjoy them more than the first one just because of what they add. But I think it's between Metroid Prime 1 and Super Metroid mostly that I'm going to decide this one. I gotta eat. I know I'm eating flesh, rotten flesh. But when it comes to it, Metroid Prime and Super Metroid, they both age really well in their own ways. Super Metroid is just like what I think of as the definitive Metroid game. It's like there's, like, whenever you think best Metroid, Super Metroid's there. I love the story, the map, the layout of the Metrovania style of the map. I love the boss battles, they're excellent. The pixel art, like, it still ages really well today. The music, the atmosphere, it's all excellent. And Prime has a lot of that same stuff where it changes the formula to its first person, but it does it in a way that it feels unique from other shooters. Like, I love how you can make the arm on its own separate from the actual camera and move that around to shoot and aim. And then other times you can like either auto aim or do something else using it like any other typical first person shooter. But I love how much there is to its formula, the abilities, their uses in the game, and its Metrovanian style as well is just excellent. Yeah, just such a brilliant game. It looks great. Once again, I love that atmosphere, and the boss battles are excellent. Though I probably like some of the bosses a little bit more in 2 and 3, but as well as the addition of multiplayer is always an excellent addition. But the first Metroid has a personal connection where me and my brother and mother would take turns playing the game. My mother always had a hard time on the first level for some reason, even though like looking back at it is just like the easiest thing in the entire series. Is like nothing compared to all the other stuff. Apparently my applications will suspend in 15 minutes, which never happens. It just kind of says that sometimes. But I love Metroid Prime. Just the fact that it changed up the formula and did it successfully new, and did it in a way that was just so like stuck true to the formula that we knew. And we look forward to the 4th one whenever that will come out, if that'll happen. It might not have the same team, sadly, but I hope it's just as good, if not better. So, but I don't think it'll top Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is the first game. We wouldn't have the others without it. It's excellent. So, there you go. That's my number 19. My number 18 is going to be... Where is it on here? I'm trying to find where I put 18. There it is. So, I can't believe I put some of these other games over Metroid, because I actually like Metroid more than some of these games I'm about to talk about, the series as a whole, but I think some of these games, just for other reasons, stand a little bit stronger. But my number 18 is Dead Space. This was a game I was looking forward to for a while. When I got it, I was psyched. I love the Dead Space series. I'm going with 1, of course, but I want to talk a little bit about this. So 3 is more action. 2 also has some action, but it balances out the horror and action pretty well. It is a much smoother experience. I hated the cover system in 3. It's less horrifying. There's less scary parts to it, but it still has its scary bits, like the Carver seeing things mission, and there is the moon level at the end, which is pretty cool. I do like some of the lore adds. I don't like the fact that Isaac's relationship with whatever her name is broken up, where it was really well developed in the 2nd game. The 3rd game sucks for that. I'm sorry I forget her name, but yeah, that just sucks. I like that there's still some good character development in 3. I think I'm more used to Isaac's actor because he's such a sailor and kind of annoying after coming off of Dead Space 1. Where it's like he went from being a silent protagonist to a guy who wouldn't shut up in the sequel. I actually made artwork for the dismemberment competition, or whatever the thing was, where you turn in some art for that. I actually had some, but I didn't get the chance to turn it in because they didn't really have... I didn't know the time limit to when they needed it, and they chose a really lame dismemberment one because it doesn't even kill the enemy when you do it, and it barely dismembers them. So it's just kind of like, that's dumb. Mine went all out with that and kills the enemy. It would have been awesome though if you could do the execution, and I guess the only problem with it would have been you would probably see it too much, maybe, if an enemy attacked you. Because it is the typical necromorph with the blade arms that you will see doing it. Sleep in this bed for now. Dead Space 1 just had an excellent story. I love that its story left off conclusively where I like the joke ending of 2, I just also feel like 2's ending spits on 1's ending a bit. And 3 does kind of return to that ending with a DLC, but once again, it's behind a paywall. It fixes the ending it has originally, so, which was kind of dumb, but whatever. I thought the villains in each of the games were fine. I think the villains in 1 were better just because they felt more realistic and scary even. Like, I remember, oh wow, maybe I don't remember him. I remember his appearance, Mr. Mustache Guy, that had the accent. I can't remember what his accent was, but I definitely, that character stands with me, and to be honest, I don't remember the names of any of the other villains, but I love the villains in, matter of fact, that villain even sacrifices himself before the ending, and like, you're unsure of certain people and their motivations and such in a lot of these games, in Dead Space 1. I love the way it messes with your head, though it's not, may not be as subtle, and I do find that Nicole's dad is the letter of each thing pretty cool, as well as that plot twist does get me. Originally, I mean, I see it, of course, now, but I still love it because it's still demonstrated pretty well, and unless you use all the save points and put them in it together, all the first letters of each mission, then you would never find that out until, like, the game shows you. And I think it's demonstrated pretty well. You even get an emotional, sad moment with Isaac. He has his own animation for it. I think the Nicole stuff, it does a really good job of throwing you off and making you feel creeped out if she's really there or not, like what's going on. And I love the ending, how it's like it goes two different directions, or it's like, oh, is she alive or is she dead? Did she attack you as a necromorph, or is that a different necromorph? You're just seeing it as Nicole. And I would have loved the sequel to be that there were hints of Isaac, or maybe Isaac was a character unnamed helping you through get to escape in the second game, and you were playing a different protagonist. Maybe it could even be, what's her name, who he kind of falls in love with later, and that would play greatly into the next game. They could still have a great chemistry between each other, though she never gets to figure out his name. And he has to be kind of untrustworthy about things. Because the second game ruined it by saying the ending went one direction. At least with this, like, they can still say that, but at the same time you still got like mystery and build up that will like throw you off. I just like if they would have demonstrated it a little bit better in the sequel, because I felt like it was just kind of straightforward to the point, and they kind of ticked me off with the ending a bit. Where the third game, sadly in DLC, brings that ending back, but you know it's probably going the other direction with that ending. But I still love that it leaves it up to that, as well as it is the last, definitively the last Dead Space game that we know of. So there's that too, and I do kind of appreciate that to some extent. I don't think it should be DLC, but it's still cool. I did like the combo weapons, even though it falls into the same problem that BioShock Infinite had, where it's kind of felt like a typical, shooter. Can you stop clicking on him? You, get over there. Yeah, I liked that it felt like, I still liked it was kind of reminds me of the trick weapons of Bloodborne. But yeah, it was still a really fantastic system. It was just, everything else didn't work entirely that great. I did love that they brought the fast necromorphs back. Dead Space 1 is actually still like has its moment, like great horror, even though it is typical and predictable in parts. I still think it does a good enough job, and I don't mind the use of the brown colors and stuff. It still works for what it's got. And it separates itself from the others. Like the second game is more like blues, I guess. Use of blues or greens. and like the last game's more like whites and blacks, kind of depicts its black and white generic story, which isn't bad, but it isn't great either because it relies more on the action stuff. Let's take these. I should get the other eggs. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. I love the first game so much more than the others. And they did have like multiplayer and a cool co-op and stuff, and I love the Carver seeing stuff mission. That gives a lot of replay value to want to see the perspective from other people's, well, perspective. But yeah, it was still a fantastic game. I still really enjoy them. I hate ladders in this game. Like, I don't know what it is about ladders now, but they're like so dumb. Where did I even get an emerald? Where's my cave system in this area? I don't even remember. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with the... Let's get some more chickens. I still have a lot of fun with Dead Space 1, though. It's a fantastic game. I know it by heart. I love it. My brother loves it, too. Moving on to number 17. Let's actually save this video because I don't know how long this video has been going on for. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.